G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is an Instigating Mr. Handy Buzzblade with 40% more power attack damage and 90% reduced weight major and minor legendary effects respectively. So kicking off our automatic weapons of the melee variety, because you hold it in front of you and hit, that's where the very fast thing comes from. This thing is a two-handed weapon, so it is benefited from Slugger, unlike the Ripper, which is a gladiator weapon, seeing as it's only one hand, even though you do use both hands on it when you activate it. That's just a little bit of interesting trivia, I guess. So this thing is originally from Fallout 4. It originally surfaced through the Automatron DLC, which was... It was a good DLC, sure, it was nice to get a little bit of content, but the weapons that it gave you were not that good in terms of endgame potential, and this was no exception. This thing was basically a novelty weapon. It was something cool to have, something cool to hang up in your settlement, but you really couldn't get much use out of it. So has it lifted in Fallout 76? Well, in this video we'll examine this thing and what it can do, and we'll find out. And I'm thinking this legendary effect lineup is actually pretty useful for this thing, and we'll get to as we get into gameplay. But looking at this thing's damage, 14 and 18 ballistic and energy damage respectively, there's no way around it. That's pretty shit, but we can upgrade that a tiny little bit with perks, you see. So let's go ahead and upgrade this with, like I said before, gladiator perks. No, not gladiator perks, slugger perks. So expert slugger, master slugger should be somewhere around here, and basic slugger. We've also got martial artist, which may or may not be all that useful to us. We'll get to that in a second. But going over to luck, we'll chuck on Bloody Mess for a little bit of extra damage. Basically, we're using the standard ninja unyielding stealth build here, so hopefully this will work out right. And with all of those things, 22 and 29 ballistic and energy damage respectively. But that's okay, we can improve that. So taking a look at this thing on a workbench, you'll notice that there's just the same two upgrades as there was from Fallout 4. So there's no upgrade and electrified, which gives you a little bit of energy damage along with it, which is kind of cool. That actually requires Makeshift Warrior rank 5. And by the way, you can get this from killing Mr. Handies or Mr. Gutsies. It's sort of a random drop. You'll find it heaps, basically. If you're adamant about finding this thing, just kill as many Mr. Gutsies as you can see, and you'll eventually get the plans for it. So that's what it requires, just one of each. So yeah, it's actually really good, and it adds a little bit of weight to it, but that energy damage is nice. But we can improve that ballistic damage a little bit if we go ahead and inspect that and repair it using this horrible system. We can actually get that doing. Hold on, the weapon card's broke. 69 ballistic and 29 energy damage, which is a whole lot better, yes. And now with that rate of fire with this thing, it actually might be pretty good. So I'll show you what this thing is like with martial artist. And to show you how fast this thing does strike, I'm just going to attack the fusion generator here, because this kicks up sparks. So note how fast the sparks are going, right? Pretty damn fast, yes, but if we remove martial artist here, you can see it's about the same speed. However, if we power attack, that's about how fast we go without the use of martial artist. So if we want to speed up our power attacks, martial artist is definitely a thing we want. But honestly, you could probably do, without it. You could maybe, if you are feeling a little less, if you're feeling a little bit vulnerable, maybe you could switch that with Gladiator. You won't lose a whole lot of damage out of it. A little bit of a quicker power attack will, it's nice to have, but not essential. So if you're feeling a little bit squishy, you can chuck on Gladiator, and that'll work out just fine. Alright, so here are my buffs and my gear before we get going. And basically what I want to do here is play this kind of a Grognaki. I'm going to try out Sneak first, but I don't think, having this big old motor revving, spinning the blade is going to be too stealthy. But I'm going to give it a crack, sure, why not? With Ninja there, you can tell that we do a whole lot of damage, so yep, that's killing things very, very fast. But if we do get ourselves into a spot of caution a little bit later on, I'll show you what I was planning to do before, stealth just was like a god thing. Okay, alright, that doggo's dead. It was probably like the same doggos that I wanted to kill over and over in the live stream earlier today. It was a struggle, but as you can tell, this thing is absolutely devastating. I mean, what more could I say? This thing is just destroying things. Obviously, that instigating effect works very, very well with stealth builds, and now that we are detected, So how I want to play this is actually get this power attack first, get that done with, and then switch to basic hitting with this, basic automatic hitting, because what that'll mean is that your first attack will be buffed by the instigating effect and the power attack legendary effect, so you get even more damage out of that, and you can use the last of the, or you could just wind up the blade again, or hit him with that to finish him off quickly, and I think that is an effective tactic to use this, so it's interesting. I kind of like these auto melee weapons, but you need to have weapon artisan to make them good. That's an absolute essential right there. So with that, and I'll just get another power attack on that dude and actually kill him in one. And with that, I can... Ooh, wow, this thing is doing actually really damn good. Okay, yes, I once used these things without, you know, this thing repaired. I guess the teeth on this thing go blunt. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but as you can tell, if I don't do that power attack up first, it does make the kill a little bit longer. We've also got unyielding built up now about halfway, and adrenaline at 60%, and with that, we get ourselves 145 damage, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when we add sneak into that and the instigating effect into that, that's when the damage starts stacking up really, really fast. Alrighty, so we'll try to go about our business in here. We'll see if we can do power attacks on these guys to kill them instantly. That might be in a more of efficient way than rather than just hitting them with the blade, which is a much weaker attack. Alright, never mind. We'll go ahead and hit these guys with the power attacks. They're all nice and electrified thanks to the electrified legendary effect. Yeah, you try to block that, mate. Well, you did so. Spectacularly, in fact. So, yep, there's a thing who's dead. And not doing as well when we're not stealthy. We're getting our ass handed to us right now. So again, having that extra defense from the gladiator perk? No, it's barbarian perk is actually useful, especially if you're running a squishy little grognak like me with 2 endurance. I make it up with damage though, as you can see. Look at that damage. Instantly killed there, and I didn't even have to power attack, so yeah, this thing is pretty versatile. Surely, yeah, I could get better damage out of this thing if I had 1 more strength, but these things are kind of heavy, so having the weightless legendary effect on this, I don't think is too much of a detriment. You can rarely go wrong with weightless weapons, unless they're pistols, because they're already pretty light to begin with, but weapons that are like naturally heavy benefit greatly from this, and this is one that is no exception. There we go, he'll kill him. Kill him instantly, whack him in the head with the buzz blade, and hit him again. So what's this thing like in terms of its condition? Oh yeah, this thing can go all day, all night. Could go for a week without needing repairs. This thing has got the strongest blades you've ever seen. Nobody in the control room will move straight on. Regaining stealth, power attack on you, instantly dead once again. So at this point, we're not struggling whatsoever. When we do get caught out, all we need to do is just get back into a position of caution, which is easy thanks to my sneak skill, the agility that I get out of my unyielding bits, and also Escape Artist. Escape Artist is the most important perk ever. People don't rate it. I laugh at them because they can't see me and then I shoot them. Yeah. A lot of people line up, well not a lot of people, but I saw this one video once, he was like, Escape Artist is useless. I was like, no, now you listen here, mate. Well, I wasn't, but yeah, I said, no, you're wrong about Escape Artist, it's actually good. It was like, yeah, whatever, bro. So we'll open this up, and hopefully we haven't lost any adrenaline at this point. In the caution, that's okay, we'll just quickly nip over to him. Ooh. It's stuck on. Okay, I guess I held the button down. That was weird. Seemed like a bug there. Also, attacking them on their heads. That's a good way of getting a lot of damage, as you can tell there. Can we outpace his health regen? Not quite. And it's time to abandon ship, I think. We need to recuperate there. We've got Nerd Rage going, and we're still in danger somehow. Okay, they're on the ball today. Are you sure we're still in danger? Oh yeah, we totally are. That's okay, we can kill that guy. And we'll go ahead and just bats these next dudes. And I don't know about critical savvy. We're getting the criticals quite easily. Maybe if... I need to examine the AP drain on this thing. I don't think it's too bad. It's alright. One thing that happens when you use this thing in VATS is that you do like to hold down the trigger, like hold down the blade thing, even though you've opened it up. And now I'm being staggered. That's my fault for not having pneumatic armor. So there we go, there's it again. This thing has it's got a sticky trigger apparently. That's a bug that Bethesda need to fix, but it's not a game-breaking bug, it's just kind of annoying. But in terms of this thing's performance, I am actually very, very impressed with this. The instigating effect is lending itself very well in terms of its stealthy abilities. The power attack can boost that even further, and when it comes to not even sneaking, you can actually do pretty well with it. There we go. And we're probably clear at this point. No, we're not. One more. Whack him in the face, and follow it up with a little bit of the cuddy, and now he is dead. And we have finished this place with a lot of stim packs lost. I'm probably out right now. I might be out at like regular stim packs, 2 left, but yep. Some losses were taken in this, many stim packs down the drain, but you can't really argue with that DPS there. This thing is definitely doing alright, so we'll move on to some ghouls and see what we can do with that. Now, by manipulating the ghoul's pathing here, we might be able to just wedge ourselves into a corner, hold the blade out, and just kill every single one of them. So, let's not bother with sneaking, we'll just whack these ghouls like this. Look at that DPS. You don't really rate... Ooh, that's a mini nuke. I'll probably pinch that for later on. Hopefully I can carry it. Yes, I can. Now I just hold this blade out and wait for things to run into me. Or is that it? That might be it. Oh well, we'll keep on going, we'll keep on finding these ghouls since they're not, you know... Maybe the motors on this thing aren't as loud as I thought they were. I use a drill at work, they're pretty loud, you can hear them from a while. You can hear them, oh, not the motors, but when the impact driver, you know, when the motors, it's clicking, it's doing that noise that it does, you can hear them from ages away. Maybe it's not as loud as an impact driver motor, or whatever that impact driving... action is to get the screws in, but yeah, it's a stealthy weapon. It's like a sleeper stealth weapon, and you know what I think of that legendary? Bad. Also, this is one of the few melee weapons where you can actually have an impact to where you're hitting. A lot of melee weapons I don't know, they sort of attack, but they don't specifically hit. And also, I like how they're just running into the whirly Deathblade willingly. That's a troubleshooter's laser gun. How not useful for this character. And if it's 3 stars and it's light, I'll probably keep it for old mate legendary vendor, but at this point I'm insta-killing the ghouls. The instigating effect, even without sneak attack criticals, is doing very well. Obviously I've got a ton of unyielding damage, which I'll lose now, but even still, wow, this thing is just obliterating. Who would have thought this thing? And it's all hidden behind Weapon Artisan too, so if you're not expecting to, you know, fixing weapons properly. I don't have it equipped right now, but you get the point. But, yeah, all of this content, all of this power is just hidden behind a perk, and I think I've noticed a pattern at this point. You'd think I'd noticed it earlier, but I think that melee weapons are the only ones, melee and unarmed weapons are the only ones that actually get any bonus damage out of being fully repaired. Obviously, you're firing the same bullets whether your gun is fully repaired or nearly broken, so I guess that works. And obviously with melee weapons, you sharpen the blades and you do whatever to make it actually hit harder, so I guess that makes sense. Here's what I was talking about. Note this super sledge. There's basically nothing coming out of this, but if I go over to my handy thing, the blood goes everywhere. You can paint the walls with it, so this thing actually feels like it's hitting and making an impact rather than just, you know, having phantom damage happen, which actually makes it kind of fun to use as well. Alright, here's where it gets serious. We really want to pay attention to how fast this thing can kill Swan. I'm hoping fast. We'll see. Fuck. Do I need to say any more than that? This thing is just cleaning up, which is funny because it looks like it's one of the messiest things I've ever used. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a different thing happening today. All of the crabs are sort of dogpiling on each other. I think the queen is scorched and the other crabs aren't happy with the situation. So if you were to just, you know, come back here so I can kick your ass. Ah, yes, that's the stuff. Now we can see this thing going. Obviously, I've got enhanced damage against those guys because I do have what's it called, the glow sight perk, so that works. And you're already out. Back into caution with you, and less sneak attack damage on you. I guess I'm not hitting you in a sensitive spot. Huh. It feels like my damage has dropped off significantly. Or maybe I wasn't getting true sneak attack criticals, so I was getting them on those guys. Hang on, no. You're not... Wow, this is weird. It's like a cowardly My Alert Queen. How's it going, bro? Wait, where did the queen go? Can you see it? Just disappeared for me. Well, anyway, let's just move on to a bat, I suppose. Okay, let's try and find a bat. There's one. Hit him up with a little bit of that good old Enforcer there. Hit his wings pretty good, so he should drop in a second. We've got Concentrated Fire just to check on that. And he looks like he's about set to land. Let's get to work. Now, I've pulled Ninja, so I'm not going to get those sneak attack crits as good as they were. And without all of that nonsense to us, we're still doing pretty good damage. Without those sneak attack criticals, we are suffering. That seems abundantly clear. And let me just finish off the rest of you. So it looks like when you're... It'll take out all of your basic mobs very, very quickly. But when it comes to the bigger stuff, it does slow down a little bit. There's no big staggering factor to it because you're just holding just a little bit of a sharp blade to them. So that's a little bit of a shame. And yeah, without those sneak attack criticals, I don't think it can compete all that well. But in terms of just basic day-to-day crowd control enemies like this, you could really go to town here. You could just destroy everything, you know, short of maybe a Scorched Beast. But you saw against Swan how good it was when you actually were able to utilize this thing with stealth. For some reason, the damage just dropped off. Maybe that's just because the game bugged and the whole fucking stealth thing bugged. I'm probably gonna lean towards that, but I think you get the idea. So, showing that without the sneak attack criticals, it still does pretty good damage. I don't know what exactly happened there. It looks like on the weapon card we're still doing a lot. It just dropped because adrenaline, but yeah, still getting tons of damage with this. So, yep. There you have it, a little bit of an automatic weapon. I'll do the rippers as soon as they fix the damn bug where you can't apply external mods. I've got a bunch of extended blades ready to go, but I can't actually put them on, so fix that shit, Todd. And if you'd like to see this thing in your game, well, you can't have it. This is my buzz blade, but I'll probably have a couple of others soon. Not right away, but in the distant future. Alright, time to do some right away, which I might give away just because I think I've got one of the best ones that you could get right here. Thank you for watching, guys.